So, hi, Britt and Richie. How is everything, and how are the preparation for Fringe going on?
It's good. We just arrived in Edinburgh yesterday. So we are a little jet lagged, but we have gotten one good night of sleep and we kind of hit the ground running this morning. But it kind of feels like we've done everything we can up to this point. We have tech rehearsal tomorrow and the next day, and then we open Well Balanced Dads. Then Richie opens his solo show, Mothman Cometh, and then the 17th I open my solo show, Arachne Athena. So we've kind of staggered it, I guess. But up to this point, we've I think we've done the best we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you guys start? This would be an individual question. That how did you start your act as a performer, and how did you start? What's your journey?
Great. You want to go first?
No, he asked you first. You go first.
All right. Yeah, so I started as a performer, I would say in an unofficial capacity when I was very young. I was always performing for my parents. I'm the youngest of three. And so my mom always likes to tell me like I would put on a clown wig and ride my tricycle through through the house, to try to get her and her friends to laugh. So I knew that I really loved making people laugh at a young age. And then I was first and foremost like a writer. And so I wrote a lot. I read a lot as a kid. And then I guess like performing theatrically really started for me when I was in my like middle digits. I don't know, like 13. I was cast as the little old man in James and the Giant Peach. Because I realized that I loved to play anything other than what I was. So that started for me, I guess, about 22 years ago. And I think I've been doing that ever since. Then I started, I got really big into different types of comedy. So improvisation. I moved to Chicago from my original hometown in South Carolina to study improv. And I thought for sure that I was going to go the sketch comedy route and be on Saturday Night Live someday. That was my goal. And then I realized how much I loved clown and collaborating and physical humor and slapstick. So I really went off on a journey with that, knowing one, I could make people laugh, two, I could use my body to do it, and three, that I got to work with other amazing artists. So yeah, from there I went to grad school. I got my master's in physical theater, which is where we started collaborating. I've just been doing entertaining as long as I can, but really sticking in the physical theater niche.
And what about you, Richie?
Me, I grew up playing sports. Any kind of sport I could get my hands on, or my mother threw me into. I just grew up playing all of the sports, and so I suppose I grew up in a very team-oriented, collaborative atmosphere. And I didn't really know what theater was until I was about to finish high school. And my family had moved us, and we were in a new place and didn't know anybody. And I got really depressed and found my way into the theater department, which welcomed me with open arms. And they threw me into a musical, which I'd never sang, never danced, never acted before. But they were like, "Oh, you're basically a straight white male. You look older than all of the freshman kids," because I was a senior. "We have a role for you if you want it." And I was like, "Okay, so I'm in the musical now. Now what?" And I don't know if I liked being in a musical, but I got to do stage combat. I got my own song. I got to dance. I got a little bit of um, oh, I don't know what to call it. But I also got like a stage kiss and everything. So it felt like a whole package in one role. And I was like, wow, I don't know what this is, but there's something here. And I ended up going to the local college for theater, where within the first year of my schooling, they introduced a program in physical theater. And I joined into that with a couple of friends, and we started to learn like juggling and tumbling and how to clown and doing like physical things together. I was like, oh, this is theatrical sport. This is speaking a language that is somewhere inside of me. And my final year of school, because of the program we were in, we went to Italy for the last year of school, where we got really more in depth into like mask work and ensemble devising stuff. And I really started to fall in love with this type of physical performance of like heightened character. Everything's with my body. What does it take to activate a mask that's on my face? And also fusing all of this with circus that we had learned and I was continuing to learn. So I moved to Chicago. I started teaching circus and learning more circus skills and became a circus artist and started performing that as well and started making my own sort of clown and physical theater routines and went to grad school where we learned more ensemble theatrical development and how to merge styles and forms. So I was like, oh, how do I use circus as a language in a show to tell a story rather than look at this trick I learned how to do? Which is now a lot of the work that we do is how do we combine different forms and styles of theater and physical skill to make unique languages to talk about characters, to talk about themes and tell stories.
Man, you guys you guys have like very different kind of trajectories. But I realized that Richie might have realized that he was into sports. Like when he was young, he was into sports, and he was getting the same kind of adrenaline from the circus and the performance and everything.
Yeah.
How did you
And I
guys like
still
start? Yeah, please.
sorry. Oh no,
Uh,
what was your question?
my question was that when you guys like met and resonated, like this improv and comedy with the skills of a circus. So how did it happen? How did you guys click?
So actually, we met because I ran a physical theater or a physical comedy variety show in Chicago. At IO Chicago, I ran it. It was called Heels Overhead for 4 years, and Richie started performing in it. And we realized pretty quickly that we were interested in doing similar things in, as Richie said, taking heightened physicality and taking circus works and infusing it into storytelling as opposed to just being tricks. And probably after about a year of being friends, we both found out we got into the same grad school program. So yeah, for physical theater. And that is where we started working together and also started dating.
Yeah. So in a lot of the school was like, okay, here we're going to teach you these sort of techniques and forms of theater, but it left it open enough that whatever background or skills you had, you could elevate whatever you're working on with that. So we naturally brought some acrobatics, some tumbling, some physical stuff to it. And so it just really strengthened our ability to do that, but then also united us in that we were interested in doing the same thing. So we started to work together a lot that way. And when we got out of grad school, we had a couple of shows that we were working on together. I was sort of directing and performing in a weird movement show about dreams, and Britt was in the cast, so we got to move and do weird acrobatics together.
And I directed and wrote a show about 3 bouffant women clowns, and we got to take both of those at the end of our grad school program to the 2019 Fringe Festival
here in Edinburgh. Yeah.
And then that was our taste into Fringe festivals. And we were like, oh, we want to do this.
Yeah. So we started to do a little bit more, but then of course, pandemic and lockdown happened. And I think that sort of forced us into a corner and said, well, I remember having a dinner one night and we were just like starting to break down in tears. It was like, is this it? Is that theater? I don't want to do Zoom theater forever. We can't do the physical stuff we do. So we were like a breath of away of saying, okay, we're done with theater. And then I think it was you, Britt, that was like, we should write a farce. And so we started to write this like heightened, upbeat physical comedy show. And that sort of revitalized our love for this physical theater. And it was the perfect container for us to start to put everything we were working on in of like, okay, we can make circus a physical language in the show. It exists naturally. We can tie in these stupid characters that we love to play. We can add story in as much as we want. And I think that was sort of like everything's getting dark, 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 and then a little flame. And we just kept fueling that flame until it exploded to where we are now. Now we have a duo show together where we do acrobatics as dads and explore these characters' lives a little bit. And we have both of our solo shows that have sort of come out of these dark times. And we have several cabaret acts that we do together that are just like lyrical and special acrobatics or moody or very stupid character things that are just trying to be creative with partner acrobatics.
And it's worth noting, we formed a theater company in 2019 called Whisper Theater. We've made a total of 8 shows together, either with either as soloists or together or with other ensemble members in Chicago that came out of the grad school program we did through Columbia College Chicago and Art House Berlin. So
I have 2 questions now. Actually, I had one in mind, but like watching you have this conversation, I'm just thinking about another question. So during the COVID, so writing is comparatively easy during lockdown, but adding the physical stuff, how did you do that during lockdown? Because physical stuff need acceptance from the people too.
Yeah.
We made a lot of weird short form things in our apartment.
Yeah. So we would quite literally clear out we were in a 1-bedroom flat, and we just cleared out some of the furniture and laid some yoga mats down, and we'd practice floor acrobatics together, just to kind of keep our bodies moving and keep practicing some things. But then we each had our own different sort of groups of artists that we were connecting with. Britt was in a playwrights circle for a while writing, and I was in a group that was called Manifesto, but it was basically about like, what do you think art is, and let's keep you creating based on what you think that is. So I was definitely making a lot of weird Zoom theater that I was trying to focus on physicality. So it was a lot
playing
of
with camera stuff and lighting stuff as much as we could.
Yeah. And so I got to bring out weird characters. I got to play a lot with some effects that like old silent film used to play with, like fast forwards and reverses and being poetic and stuff. So that kind of helped keep it going until we could be in spaces again.
Yeah. I will say though, thanks to the pandemic, that's like where we both created our solo shows, or at least the sparks for them, because we were like, is it going to be possible for us to be in a room with collaborators again? And, once we realized that like, we can't stop doing theater, these ideas for like, okay, what is possible for us to do as soloists? So Arachne, Athena, and the Mothman Cometh, I think largely came out of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the idea of my character was there in like 8 or 9 different characters that I was toying with. Yeah. And Britt was quite literally writing Arachne for 4 years, and that started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. And the pandemic didn't just get you like, used to your art, but it also gave you the cinematic experience of how to turn the stage play into a cinema.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
It did. I don't know how good it was, but we definitely tried.
Yeah.
It must have been fun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There were some moments where it was fun. There were some moments where it was madness. And sometimes it felt like a chore because it was like, we have to keep going. I know it sucks but we have to.
Yeah.
So, but it was a full emotional experience. Yeah.
So let's take you back to your first Fringe and the first show that you did. 2019, the first show that you did. The show ended, you got the applause, you got the laugh. How did it feel? The first day, the first show.
We were bit.
Yeah.
We were absolutely smitten. We'd never been to a festival like this before. I don't know about you, but I'd never been to a Fringe festival in general. I knew theater festivals existed. So.
Yeah, the Edinburgh Fringe was our first Fringe festival ever attending. So
and we didn't know what we were getting into. And I think our first show we had 10 or 11 people, and most of them were our friends. And the second show, the audience doubled, and the third show, the audience doubled. So we ended up with like 40 to 50 people in our third show, which was our final. We only did 3 shows.
Yeah.
So that felt really nice. And then now, as we've done the festival, this is our 3rd year back for a full run.
4th total
year. Yeah. So now looking back and seeing what we did, we were like, we had no idea what we were getting into. This festival is a monster. It's exhausting and it's beautiful and magical and so special. And thankfully we were so like new to it that we successful enough that we only got to really feel the magic in that moment, and we got bitten by it. It was really nice.
I think what happened too is that every festival we've done, or every Fringe we've done, there's that thing where you just learn so much more every time. So it was like the first audience, the first applause and everything was incredible, but then also like right after that it was like, but then we can try this next time. let's see how this works. And you become like at Edinburgh Fringe, you have like a chance to become a comedy scientist
Ah,
or a chance to become a theatrical scientist and say, like, where else can I do this many reps at one point in time? We could try anything.
And with such a diverse audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
but it must have been some added pressure in the fringe, because suppose you're experimenting something in the middle of the fringe, and let's say it doesn't work, it bombs,
Yeah.
and you worried for the next show then?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes.
You're worried about it happening again and then going, oh no, is it about me? Or oh no, did I mess up the show because I played with it? But also you learn, oh, that moment bombed. Okay, I know how to adjust it, because you just tune your ear to the audience to go, why did it bomb? Was it the timing? Was it the words? Did I ruin the moment? What? So you get to find the failure and then fine tune it into success.
I'd say the thing that I don't know that I've really had so much of changing something in the middle of a run. What's more happened with me was I felt so certain that something would work in the beginning or in the writing phase, and then trying it with an audience, and having to face my own stubbornness to saying, like, I know this will work. I know it will work. I just have to find the right delivery. I just have to find the right timing. I just have to chop away things around it. But then that moment when you like realize that you actually have to kill a darling, or as a really wonderful mentor of ours said, is like, maybe you've got this great idea, but it's not for this show. Maybe you know it's great, but it's not what this show needs. So you've got to pin it, and it's going to be for the next thing that you make. You don't have to roll all of who you are and all of your talents and all of your great ideas into one show. Sometimes it's just for the next one.
And I feel like these bombing moments have really, especially in my solo show, they've really fine-tuned me as someone who's able to listen in the moment and sort of crowd work the energy in the room. And recover. Like, I think my skill at recovering from failure in the room is immensely improved over the Fringe festivals.
Yeah.
To the point now where people are, as far as I know, right, as far as I've spoken to people don't even know if I've messed up or if I've bombed, because the next moment becomes a success because I played it off well.
I think stage is a great leveler. One day you bomb and the other show is a hit, then the other show is a hit, and then you bomb. So I think it's a great leveler. And you said about the joke, killing the joke. So I was having this conversation recently with a person, and I realized that there are some jokes which are just ahead of your time. So that doesn't work then. I'm so sorry to make this interview a little bit about me, but I had this joke. So it happened during COVID. One of my friend, it's a very dark joke, I said. So one of my friend had like 30 people living in his house, and one of them died during COVID. So we were at the cremation, and I just said, I don't know why I said it. I have this traumatic humor. I said that I hope he doesn't become a regular customer here. And okay, that was dark then, but when I think about it now, and when I tell him this joke now, he says that it was pretty funny. So I think sometimes jokes are just ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you need a certain amount of distance from it to make it funny again.
Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah.
And both of you guys are a lover of physical comedy. So have you gotten hurt or injured?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, in various capacities, especially when we're doing. I mean, I'm a competing circus artist. I've competed at a world championships actually back in July for wheel gymnastics. I spin around in a circle, in a big round metal circle, and I do tricks in it.
Yeah.
And so training for that, I often get injured and then go up into the rehearsal room and go, well, I've broken my big toe. So how do we get through this show like that? Or, I mean, I also have taught, I teach kids how to rock climb in the States. And so I was teaching summer camp 2 months ago. And because it's so loud in there, sometimes I was raising my voice a lot, and I strained one of my vocal cords, and I lost my voice for a week leading up to a show. And our show is very talk heavy and physical too. So we were preparing to be like, okay, what lines are important? How does Britt say all of my lines in a way that makes sense for the show? And how do I portray anything. Thankfully, my voice recovered just in time for the show. Like, I think the day before it hurt, and the next morning I was like, it's okay. I think we're going to be okay.
So basically, Well Balanced Dads is me working around Richie's injuries that he gets from doing his other work.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been injured too.
I've been injured too. I once had like recently had a really rough big toe sprain, and you don't think it's your toes. You're like, it's gonna be fine. And I'm like, like I can't, I can't do what I need to do. So we have about whether it's for injury or different areas that we perform in, because sometimes we perform outside, sometimes we perform on really hard concrete floors, sometimes the ceiling is too low to do what we do. So we have a number of contingency plans, and luckily we've been working together for about 8 years. So we know each other's bodies, we know the tricks that we can pull out of our back pocket when we need to. And we make an assessment and say, okay, do we go with plan A, plan B, or plan C? Okay, for this show. And sometimes we have to make the call about 5 minutes before the show starts.
Sometimes an injury happens in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
And it's not injury enough to be like, we have to stop.
Yeah. Sometimes I throw my back out doing one really stupid dance move, and then we just have to continue on with the show.
Yeah.
And we're just going to pretend like I'm just going to be a little stiff. My character's a little stiff.
We just know how to physically speak to each other, or the moments where we can turn and be like, okay, we're not doing this move. We got to do this move. that it doesn't disrupt the show.
Look at each other and go,
nope, put me down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, you don't know when your well-written show could become an improv.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
this is, I think, one of our strengths too, is that we play so much, especially in the creation of our shows. Most of it comes through improvised play. Sometimes we write a little bit because we need something to play with.
Yes, or if it's dialogue that's very rhythm heavy.
Yeah, but we'll get in the room and play, and so there's already like 100 different versions of this scene. And we're used to, okay, we know how to get from one end of the scene to the other. We know it needs to be conveyed for the story to get across. And sometimes we know how much time we need to take up. That we can freely, in theory, improvise throughout the entire show and not really disrupt the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your show. We have covered almost everything, I guess. And so let's start talking about your show. Richie will go first with you. What the show is about?
Which one?
Your solo show. Yeah, your
solo show. The Mothman Cometh. The Mothman is a cryptic creature that exists. It made its big appearance in 1960s in West Virginia, where a big bridge collapsed and people swore that they saw this creature, and it was like the harbinger of doom and causing like weird dark energy, and people were going mad and crazy. And this creature also appeared in Chicago in 2016. So it's become this big like pop culture icon, the Mothman. A lot of people in the States really know who it is, and it's starting to trickle over here too. So basically, I play the Mothman in the dark for an hour. The show is lit by my glowing red eyes. I have LED goggles that I use. And it's an immersive, interactive experience where the audience is being recruited into Mothman's sort of like the minions of darkness. So we do a bunch of games, rituals, and happenings to embrace darkness together. And sometimes it's very, very serious, but sometimes it's very stupid. And I tried to make this clear from the beginning that the Mothman is sort of a Muppet, so that it's not so scary. And we use play and humor and all of this sort of stupidity to approach really scary, dark, and personal things. We talk about fear, anger, loneliness, and it makes these moments really accessible. And I think in the darkness, especially, it allows people to really shed a lot of like defenses and really be present and connect with people and open up. And there's a moment where I get the audience to popcorn, yell at me, what scares you? And it can be endless some nights of like people just yelling what scares them. And I'll play with it a little bit, and each game is very different. There's some physical games and whatnot too, but essentially the point is we are all there to embrace the darkness together, and in the end, the audience helps show Mothman his light.
My God! So, is there any musical number also involved in Mothman, or it's just
I do sing in it. I sing a lot because one of the things that happens to Mothman is it sort of becomes possessed by songs. In one way to connect to like pop culture songs that also have dark messages behind them, but also in a way to be like, sometimes sometimes we can't articulate what we need, what we're feeling. And sometimes we find that in music or in poetry because somebody else has found a way to say it. And so this sort of, he like becomes possessed and it comes out and he doesn't really know what's going on, as a way of like something inside of him is trying to break out as he's trying to shield and be like, no, I'm not going to show you vulnerability. And it's like, no, you're going to be, and we're going to force it to happen. So throughout the show, this gets more and more, and he finally accepts him as vulnerable. There's also a lot of pre-recorded music in the show. There's a lot of like alternative rock and heavy metal references and stuff. So I wouldn't call it a musical, but there's a lot of music.
And what's the light of this Mothman?
The light of the Mothman, it's the idea that everybody has a flame inside of them, and no matter how big or small, and all we want to do, everybody, I believe, is just to find fuel to keep that fire alive and keep it going. And sometimes it's hard to do that on your own. And so for me, I think the moral of the show is to find ways to look around and see that in other people and go, I'm losing sight of my flame, but look at all the flames around me. Maybe I can follow one until mine's reignited, or somebody else's is dimming over there. Let me go over there and share some of the fuel that keeps mine alive. And maybe together we'll get through this.
And you're playing just one character of the Mothman, or is it multiple characters? Just Mothman.
Just the Mothman.
Man, playing one
That doesn't
character
mean
for an hour.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that other people don't join him on stage.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of audience participation in the show.
See, I'm just trying to like figure it out how you're going to pull off. And are you in a costume or?
I am. Well, you wouldn't know because it's mostly dark, but I'm in a black spandex unitard. I have a hand-stitched cape with like ripped things hanging from me. I have LED goggles on, and I have little like shoes that separate my toes like this. They're Japanese tabi. So I feel like a little moth running around.
So you are like stressing yourself to a little bit of physicality, like throughout the show, throughout the 1 hour.
It is a very energetic show.
And
because I
scary
do,
and funny.
yeah. People have labeled it a horror comedy, stressing on the comedy part. So I treat it as a mask sometimes, and I treat it as a puppet sometimes. So it can be very serious and pointed, and sometimes can be very silly and stupid, but it's very articulate. And I do the articulation of the goggles because I'm articulating with my full body. I think that's why it's so expressive.
See, I was coming to this interview very excited to hear like Britt's show because it's about Athena. But sorry, no offense, but this show is very intriguing.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah,
it is. It's a great
exciting.
show.
It's exciting.
Now, coming back to their show about Athena, Arachne Athena.
Yes.
And you are, and I guess you are portraying the goddess of wisdom, war and wisdom.
Yes. We focus more on the goddess of justice part for this particular show, but we cover multiple. She says, I'm the goddess of justice, wisdom, and other things, because she was also the goddess of handicrafts, so and strategic warfare. And you get to see all 4 of those things really present throughout the show. But yeah, we focus mostly on the justice aspect.
Yeah, but Athena was very like, I don't know, because we have listened to some different versions of Greek mythology, because in India it's a very different mythology. But Athena was a little egoistic when it came to her handicrafts also.
It was a little bit what?
Egoistic. She had a
Yes. So the whole myth, right, of Athena and Arachne was that Arachne was a mortal who was a mortal, not immortal, who was a great weaver and boasted that she was the best weaver in the world. And so Athena did not like that. And so Athena comes down and they have a contest, a weaving contest. And Arachne has her weaving, Athena has her weaving. Now, sometimes that's where the myth sort of diverges. Some say that Athena was the best, some say Arachne was the best. But regardless, the bottom line is that Arachne gets turned into a spider by Athena.
Yes.
So yes, it seems like you know the myth.
Yeah, I know the myth. I know the darker version.
Yes.
Yeah, where Arachne, where the people, so this city voted, and Arachne wins, and Athena gets an all ego is that okay, I am the goddess of justice, but this doesn't seem fair to me that I lost. So she goes back, and the whole Arachne things happen. So what element are you covering in this show?
Yeah. So I set the show like it's in the modern day, and that Athena has been in retirement for many years. But she comes out of retirement and she's decided she is going to restore order and justice for all mortals. And by the end of the show, which is actually a book reading, because she's launched her own memoir, she wants to be relatable to people. So she's hired a marketing team, and everyone's going to see how much they need her again. And she's going to restore order and justice. And then she starts to cough up spider webs. And she doesn't understand why, but it turns out that she's been cursed to cough up spider webs until she reveals the past injustices that she created as Olympus's or as a judge in Olympus. So what happens then is we go into sort of this big flashback, right? Of Athena having to recount some of the stories from her from the other myths that we know her to be in, but she has to tell the truth this time. So the thing that we're really focusing on is, what is justice? Is justice something that or what do we do about it whenever it's when we disagree with how it's handled, right? So I play Athena, that she's really listening to Zeus, that she and Zeus and her family are the ones that create justice. But then she's got this girl, Arachne, who becomes her friend, who really sees justice as being something that mortals, that the lower classes, in a sense, create for themselves and give a name to. So you really have these sort of two approaches fighting each other. I play all of the characters. I play Athena and Arachne and a couple of other surprise characters that come into there. And that's the element that we really focus on is, what is justice and what is art's role in creating justice or upholding justice.
So is it a dark comedy or a horror comedy? Because it seems more like a horror comedy to me because
Yeah, I would say I call it a dark comedy, but I definitely would say it's a mix of physical comedy, of body horror, and storytelling. So it's like a fusion of all of those things. But I call it a dark comedy to try to lump it into something.
it would be so fun that people watch Athena in Odyssey right now, playing this,
Yeah.
okay, good, okay, I'm the guiding light. And then they'll watch you as Athena
Oh
doing
yeah.
all the dreadful deeds. I mean, actually, I would say confessing to all the dreadful deeds.
Yeah. So the thing about the show, it's really fun, is it's really hard for this character to confess to doing anything wrong, right? Because especially you imagine the goddess of justice feels quite justified in what she's
Yeah.
done, right? And like has her reasons and has her passion. Um, you know, like I think a lot of people even can start out in one going down one path and feeling like, I know why I'm doing this. I know I'm in the right. I have these beliefs. I'd say you probably see that in a lot of politicians, but then something, whether it's bureaucracy or nepotism or lobbying or something that causes them to go a bit askew on their path and lose sight of the reason they were really fighting for what they were fighting for. So for this character, the things that keep her accountable are the webs, which I crocheted myself.
Ah,
So by the end, there are webs everywhere, and I made them all with my hands. But there are these key moments where a surprise web appears from somewhere, and we use a black light to really highlight them and totally change and shift the lighting of the scene. And that's whenever we're not in this like fun, light storytelling mode, but we're in this like darker moment where Athena has to look at the thing she really did.
yeah, you're combining Odyssey and Spider-Man in one.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. It's all in the zeitgeist, right?
And about the show you are doing together.
Yeah. So
Just
our
tell
show
us
is
about
called
that.
it's Well Balanced Dads. It is about two fathers and best friends who are neighbors, who basically their kids have just left the nest. Their kids have gone to college and they do not know what to do with all of this newfound freedom. They are bored to tears and they don't know what to do about their role as dads now that their kids aren't there. And so, and they also happen to do acrobatics because that's what we do.
But it's not so much like, look, the dads are acrobats, but acrobatics is fused into their physical language to be like, they've had a really heightened moment of emotion, excitement, which means they flip over each other.
They told a really good joke, so they celebrate by doing a trick.
Yeah.
So what in this story, we take the audience on a camping adventure. They go with us. The audience plays sometimes hitchhikers, sometimes other campers. But we weave acrobatics into the whole thing. It's very, very interactive. We have a lot of play with the audience. And yeah, we like to say that it's a show for anyone who is a dad, wants a dad, or has a dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, do the acrobatics have horrible fails? Or
no. They have some silly moments in the acrobatics just because it's like, okay, how would a dad do this acrobatic move? But we try not to like let the acrobatics fail because we don't ever want the sense of danger or the sense of like did that fail to detract and make the audience sit back and go, are the actors okay? So we try to cover everything pretty well if it is supposed to. But sometimes we do fall out of an acro trick, but we've trained together so often and we've fallen out of these while training so often. We know how to come out of it smoothly and turn it into something else that you might not really catch it unless you know that acrobatic move, for example.
Kind of the main thing we focus on is how can you see dual images in our acrobatics? Or how do we take something that you think we're going to do this, but then we subvert it and make you laugh by changing it?
Man, the chemistry that must have been required to do this together would have been insane.
It helps that we're married,
Yeah.
and that we've been training together for like
8 years.
Yeah, almost a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks lovely that, okay, you have a darker show, you have a dark show, but together you have a very happy show.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's on purpose. we made the two darker shows first, and they were like, we just want to do something dumb together.
Yep.
But Well Balanced Dads is not just dumb. It is very dumb in a good way. But there's a lot of heartfelt things. A lot of people leave pretty teary-eyed or wanting to call their dads. Our whole mission with Whisper Theater and with each other is we like to make you laugh. We like to make you cry, probably sing along, and kind of think about things that you maybe don't think about day to day.
So I already know what your guys' favorite part about the duo show is. It's about making people feel the emotions. But now I would ask Richie her favorite part about Arachne Athena.
My favorite part about Britt's show?
Yeah.
Ooh, good question.
Hmm.
So Britt's recently done some redeveloping of the script. So I don't feel like I have an overall favorite spot of the show, but now I have a spot that hits me really hard that I really enjoy now that it's changed. And I would say I don't know. I don't want to give spoilers to the show. There's a moment towards the end of the show that feels like the emotional climax of the show, where Athena is playing Arachne, who is playing Zeus, doing a burlesque piece to represent one of the weavings, because the weavings are done through like song and dance in a little bit, because it's like, with the weavings, they moved, they sang, they danced. So it's all kind of done through song and dance instead of like holding up a weaving and going to look at it. So Britt's doing a burlesque piece as Zeus, and it gets quite raunchy. And afterwards, it pisses Athena off so much that Athena is forced to reckon with like her emotional climax. And it's at this point in the show that I think you completely lose. Is this happening now, or is this still a flashback? Is Athena's emotion real, or are we seeing what Athena felt in the past? And it's so present in the room that it just kind of shakes the room into a very sober and lean forward state. And then to watch Britt play through Athena's emotions in this fallout of like this heighten and then the come down and the realization of the things that they've done in reaction to these emotions, it's quite moving and powerful. And it leads right up to the end of the show where Athena is sort of like empty, lost, and has reckoned with the things that she's done in the past, and has no other choice besides to like, how do I move forward and change, because that's not okay anymore. And it's become such an emotional part of the show for me to watch. As I've run tech for this show, I've seen countless versions, I've watched it be written over the years. This, for me, I'm starting to get emotional just thinking about it.
I can see that.
Yeah. It's I get to watch my partner thrive in an emotional, like an Olympic event, and to watch these characters really come to life in their most vulnerable and heightened moments. And I don't know what else to say. It's just so powerful that it's one of my favorite spots now.
Well, now you have a tough, you have a really tough question to answer.
Same thing. What's my favorite
Yeah.
thing about Mothman Cometh?
I know what your answer is.
Do you? So this is going to seem like a much lighter answer, but my favorite thing about Mothman Cometh is Richie's ability to, as he said, listen and respond to an audience and give them so much energy and confidence to do crazy things they never thought they would do and say crazy things they never thought they would say. And they don't even realize that he's the one that's set them up for it. And it's so sneaky and so beautiful and so skilled. The fact that like you can't see, like what you can't see, and now everyone who sees the show will see it, but like what you can't see is the obvious like setting up that Richie has done as a performer for the audience. But what you can see is the moment in each show when the whole audience has decided that they've bought in and they're on the journey. And it hits at different points. And sometimes it's a bit late, and sometimes it's really early. But the moment when he's got everyone, and it feels like the audience is kind of like one group laughing and moving and feeling together. It's like it gives me chills thinking about it, because I know how much craftsmanship has like gone into making those moments happen. So each time, different points in the show when I'm like, oh, they're in, they're with us now, they're with him now. That's my favorite.
It's maybe because it's in the dark, you can really feel it.
Yeah.
It feels like a moment of grace when the entire audience clicks in, whether it's 10 people, 80 people, it doesn't matter. It's like, for me, it's a game to be like, can I get them? Can I, but I don't want to force anybody to lean in, because sometimes the show is just not for somebody. But can I engage with people in a way and get them to open up in a way that they're like, all right, I'm in. What do you got?
And it's interesting because with Mothman, it's laughter. It's that it's often like, they all of a sudden like they're all fully there. And with Arachne Athena, I feel like it's the moment where everyone is just quiet.
Yeah.
And so it's really balancing these, anyway.
All the best to you guys for your Fringe this year, for all the 3 shows, and thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Are you going to be at the festival?
No, I'm not. I actually didn't get my visa at time, so we have a visa problem here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys liked this interview, and sorry for making you emotional.
No, it's great.
Don't apologize for that.
Man.
No, thank you so much. This is wonderful, Kishan.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.